Start. Good morning and welcome to the first round of group coaching calls. We're going to go over mostly an introductory to how the process works, make sure we flush all that out on this first call today so that everybody can get rolling as smooth as possible. So as far as the structure of the group calls themselves, we'll start off every week with a 15-minute group call, or depending on when you start and finish your weeks, it may be wrapping up your week. But every Saturday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll have a 15-minute group coaching call. All participants of all tiers of the online coaching support are welcome in those calls and are welcome to participate. We'll have a 15-minute intermission after the group coaching call once a month, which will then be followed by a 30-minute Q&A, which is intended to be more interactive than the 15-minute briefings. The 15-minute briefings, the way we'll typically do that is I will give a rundown of whatever's going on. And for tier 1, tier 2 people that are running a progression on a pre-made ebook program, I'll explain that sequentially week by week as those people jump into those, so that you can go back and you can watch those, but we'll just kind of keep rolling with a quick briefing on those. As far as the customized people, we'll wrap up some loose ends and stuff like that with whatever you have going on, and just kind of talk about generally what your goals mentally should be, or you'll just kind of learn as we're talking about that, because we'll have a lot of interaction personally as well. So we will, just one second here. Change my display. Okay. So today, the main thing that we're going to run through is going to be how the entire system of this works. So you'll have access to, or you should already have access to, a private page on the NTBFW website as well, for tiers 2 and up. And everybody should have access to the Facebook group within 24 hours of purchasing. So on the Facebook group, you'll find general guidance as well. You can post your videos. I encourage people to post their videos of their training, discuss their training with other people in the group as well as me. And anybody that's on there, I will get to as many videos as I can. But as the tiers go up, you're guaranteed more video reviews that I will get to. So at tier 2, you're guaranteed that I'll get to 2 a week. At tier 3, you'll get 8. Tier 4, you'll get 20. Tier 5, you get 25. But I will still try to get to more of those too, and just try to be engaged in the group as well. But I also encourage, again, everybody to go to the group. There's a place that you can make an introductory post. It kind of guides you through some stuff to tell about yourself. So go on there, make it fun, post something about yourself, let everybody know who you are, and really start building the team aspect of this. I think as people move forward in this process, they'll find that that is a very valuable aspect to have. And the more people that we can connect with that, the larger the brain trust gets. So the more that we all learn from it. So I learn just as much from my clients as I have from any education that I have in school. You get that experiential education. You get to talk with people that understand their body. You get to apply science. You get to see what works. You get to see what doesn't. You get to see what vibes with different people's personality. And so you get to learn how to apply that in different psychological contexts. And then just as a teammate and as a lifter, you get to observe those things and you figure out what pieces to pull out for yourself. And the coach helps you fast track that process as well, right? So the more that we can all contribute to this collective, the more valuable it is for everybody. As far as the execution of your programs, for everybody that it is in tier 1, you'll have guidance through an ebook program. So we'll have a discussion as you come on, and then you'll be able to get feedback through the community. And the program is going to be selected for you by me out of one of the 30 plus programs that we have on the NTBFW site. So there's probably something to fit pretty close to your goals. And that's a great way to get an introductory to structured training. So if you're in tier 1, that's what you have to look forward to there. As far as in these group calls, we'll give a rundown of each week briefly, and you guys on track and focus with that. Tier 2 is essentially the same thing with some customizations to those individual or those pre-made programs to make them a little more individualized. When it comes to executing the actual program, there is a guide to this on the NTBFW community page on the website, but every column has its place. So make sure that you read every column all the way over. Simple things like that, just scroll over, make sure you get all the way to where it says client notes so that you've covered all the columns. And in that client notes column, make sure that you're using it. Fill out whatever subjective stuff you like. Add comments wherever you would like to add comments on things. And make sure that you read my notes as well. Sometimes I will fill in instruction there that doesn't really fit into one of the other categories and it doesn't really make sense to tell you at the time that I was writing it back there to make it clear to you by you get this. The first couple columns are really simple. It's the exercise, sets, reps. So if you need help with those, shoot me an email, but I think that should be pretty self-explanatory. The loading notes column and the %/load column can be confusing to people sometimes. So in the percent and load column, I'm going to put whatever RPE or weight or percentage that you should be aiming for. And then in the loading notes column, you want to put whatever you actually do if that differs, or if there's a range for it. You can also list any sort of subjective stuff or list your RPE. There's an RPE column as well for most of you and most of your programs. If you're in any of the customized tiers and this differs a little bit in your structure at the top of that, then that was intentional for you too. So this may not perfectly apply to everybody that goes back and watches this specific video. If somebody comes in later and looks at this. I think for you two that are on the call live here this morning for the first one, it does cover all the columns on yours. But there are some people that may rewatch this that maybe they have a couple other columns, maybe they don't have all the same columns. So, but in general, that covers the structure of how you would read your program. And as you fill that in, you get a really good training log to look back on too. So one of the most valuable tools that I've had in training over the years is just the ability to look back on what I've done. And whenever I notice a period of time, like things were going really, really well, I can always go back and I can see, okay, this is what I was doing then. And now that things aren't going so well, I see that I've gotten into this pattern. And maybe I did it on purpose and was experimenting with something. Maybe I sort of fell into a groove and something felt like it was really efficient. And so I kept rolling with that, because we always do balance going for the overall most effective stimulus for that specific thing. And then also maintaining a high enough training density that we can cover all the bases for all the other things that we need. So sometimes we play with stuff and sometimes we're not right. We don't go down the right path. And so we have to reevaluate. And a training journal is a really helpful tool for that. Because otherwise you're sort of taking a shot in the dark at, okay, things aren't going so well. So what do I do next? And you only have the context of what's going on right now and what the problem is. You don't have the context of all the things that were leading up to it. And you don't have the direct comparison to what you were doing when things were going really well. And so maybe that doesn't always give you the perfect picture because you don't always need the same things at every level of progression. Sometimes you've leveled, out and you need to work on something different, but it's a very helpful tool. So hopefully my rant there drives home how important it is to actually fill out your training document. That gives me the information that I need to whenever I go back in, depending on what tier you're at, to either select your next program or to change your program and customize it for you week to week. It's even more important if I'm going in and I'm customizing your program for you on a more regular basis for you to get the most out of it. So if you're tier 3 and up, make sure that you're really giving me a lot of feedback there. For tier 1 and tier 2, definitely need to know more of the larger metadata for it, but I benefit a lot from seeing all of it. You do that. And again, post more videos than feel free to post more videos than what you're guaranteed to get a review for from me. Post funny stuff, post informational stuff, post stuff that you see that you think is valuable, post stuff that you think contradicts something that I've told you, and we'll talk about it. And if I'm wrong, then I learned something, and if I effectively debate the point, then I've helped you navigate away from some disinformation and silly stuff that's on the internet these days. I guess disinformation maybe is a little aggressive. Manipulate you, probably wrong on a lot of goofy stuff. So, yeah. So I think that pretty much covers the system of it. We will have a brief intermission after this call again, and that just is intended to give everybody a little bit of time. I know it's Saturday morning, so maybe somebody wants to refill their coffee and go to the bathroom and get their notes together and then decide what questions they want to ask. I probably am going to make the executive decision this morning because nobody jumped in live other than these two ladies on the first call to go ahead and start the second one. If you guys want to follow me to that link here in just a couple minutes. And I know you two are waiting to get to the gym too. So we'll go ahead and get rolling into the Q&A, and then we can just have a little discussion, and other people jump in at 7:30. Yeah, when it starts, then we'll run it till 8, and I'll make sure everybody gets their guaranteed 30 minutes, and you guys can jump off whenever you want to and when you're satisfied with yours. If you want to stay till 8, you can stay till 8. And if nobody jumps on, then we can knock it out at 7:45 and we can all go get our workout. So, all right. I will hang on one second till I find out how to stop this recording. It's the first time I've done